So that's Game of Thrones, the living card game from Fantasy Flight Games. Retails for $40.
Yeah, I'd like to throw in that it generally takes about 45 minutes for a game.
Yep.
But for each person you add in, it starts adding about 30 to 45 minutes.
Yes. Yep.
So once you get to that 6-person game,
it's all night. But yeah, so it'll be 20% off of that. We'll put it down to a $32 game.
Yep.
So Game of Thrones.
Who doesn't like those all-night games?
Yeah. All right, my last game is my favorite card game that is not called Versus System, and that is Marvel Legendary by Upper Deck. It's a deck building game. This game just has it all for me. It's the heroic version, completely cooperative in my opinion. Play it completely cooperative, throw the victory points out the window. Other than just to add them up at the end and see how did you do compared to a previous game through.
Unless you're playing with Josh.
Right, no. But the villains, the legendary villains now is set to where it's like, okay, you want to try to be a little bit of backstabbery going on, play the villains.
Yeah, they
set right up for it.
They have the bindings that actually do bad things to other people.
Yes. So, but you are superheroes, you're Marvel superheroes fighting against the villains of the Marvel Universe. There's several expansions for this. It's 1 to 5 players. Plays in under an hour, half hour to an hour, right about 45 minutes, pretty solid. There's the Dark City expansion. I feel is the most essential expansion. If you are getting those, pick that one up first because it adds the most extra meat to the game. The Fantastic Four expansion is great. The Spider-Man expansion, Paint the Town Red, is great. Guardians of the Galaxy was excellent. There were 2 standalone expansions for this now. Legendary Villains, where you play as the villains fighting the heroes. And there's also Legendary Alien Encounters. And that's the hardest one. I mean, this game's hard to beat. If you're not playing pure co-op, you're probably not going to beat the Masterminds. But the Alien one, it's beating you down the whole time. I mean, it's brutal, but awesome. So, I can't really say enough good things about this game, honestly. Not because it is Marvel themed. It's just such a good game. So, definitely one of my top 10 games of all time. It may even be in my top 5. So I love it. It's a shame my wife unfortunately doesn't care for it. She prefers the DC deck building game to this one. I like DC just fine, but Legendary I love it. So it retails for $60. I think it may be the most expensive game that we've had here. No, Thunder Alley. I think we mentioned Thunder Alley earlier. It's $64, but it's so thick. But this one retails for $60, so that'll be saving you $12 on it. Put it to $48, and it is well worth the investment. Wow. Everybody that I've showed this game to, except my wife, has really taken to it. So that is Legendary by Upper Deck.
Not everybody has good taste.
Speaking of DC deck building,
there's the spoiler.
Well, not everybody has good taste.
Although Legendary is fantastic, I'll give it that. It really is great. I prefer DC. I'm just a DC kind of girl, personally.
Fair enough.
DC is 2 to 5 players, 15 plus. Playing time is 30 to 45 minutes. Depending on if you're playing with the other expansions, it could take a little bit longer. I think one night we played with the Infinite Crisis expansion. We played for 2 or 3 hours and we still lost.
In full-on co-op.
Oh yeah, in complete co-op. That's what one of the things I love about the Infinite Crisis expansion is the co-op, because I'm really a fan of co-op games in general. So, but this is for individual play. It's deck building game. Pretty, that's just a typical standard, deck building game. You build your deck, you defeat the villains. That's the idea. So
beat them back out.
Oh yeah, that's
2 to 5 players in this
2
one.
2 to 5 players. Yep.
And less than an hour, half hour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think play. Yeah.
And you choose your main superhero, and that grants you additional abilities, or Also, it can give you additional a card that can give you a sway, depending on if you're
Spice it
able
up a
to.
little.
Yeah, spice it up a little, depending on if you're able to afford it or not. You just have to play your cards right.
Now, afford it as in the game, afford
the
it,
game,
not
afford
afford it
it.
as in money in your wallet.
No, because this is probably one of the cheaper deck builders. I would say at $39.99 retail. It's and then plus you get 20% off of that.
Yep. So put a $32 take on it.
And the biggest difference between this and the Legendary is Legendary will force you to move actions because your villains are escaping, and this one your villains just staying there.
Yeah, you can stall a
just
little bit.
attack them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. This one I will say, if you only played the first one, this base game, and you you grew tired of it, and you haven't tried Heroes United or the Crisis expansion,
Or even Street Fighter.
give it another shot, because I'm telling you, I don't know that it would make it like I love this game all of a sudden if you didn't care for it before, but I think it will move it off of your stay away from this game, because I've heard some reviewers talk, they're like, oh, this is just a terrible game, but those two expansions did exactly what this game needed, both with adding the full-on co-op mode with Crisis, and then also with giving you the ability to saying, okay, hey, put your character's hero card, don't put it in the main deck, put it under your character as a buyable card that only you can buy.
Yeah.
And that was something that I won't play this game again without going at it in that fashion. It's just such a vital part of the game, in my opinion, and really fixes a lot of things that was like about the game before. So.
And there's another set actually coming out. Well, it dropped last Wednesday.
Yep.
We'll be getting it very soon. Forever Evil is another set that's going to be coming out with this game as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that one entails and if it has any other goodies that we haven't figured out yet.
So DC deck building game from Cryptozoic. All right, and Cody, you're finishing us up this evening.
Finishing up with Munchkin. This is the deluxe set. It actually comes with a board with it. The board is not necessary, but it makes it easier to keep track of your levels.
Not necessary, but awesome.
Yes, it makes the game a lot easier to keep track of your levels and having separate discard piles. It gives you a door pile and a treasure pile. And what you're doing is, it's kind of like you're exploring the dungeon, but it's making fun of those as well.
Yeah.
It is...
Yes.
Taking a satirical approach.
Yeah.
Yep.
It fully makes fun of itself. Like I think one of the rules in the rule book was you can go about like this, or just fight and argue about it, and whoever's loudest.
yes.
Speaking of non-cooperative games.
Yeah, this is definitely not cooperative at all.
No.
You spend the entire time stabbing each other in the back, throwing things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Help you now, traitor later.
Yep.
Yeah, you can offer to help somebody, but that does not mean that the other people will not jump in and screw you both over.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
think this one plays 4 people out of the box.
Yeah, in the base game.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think with the expansions you can support more, but it starts getting a little bit
Hectic.
wacky.
Maybe a little bit too long for what it is.
I think the biggest game I've played is 8 people.
Yeah. Don't play it.
It was pretty hectic.
No,
3
or 4
is good.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole objective is just to reach level 10.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what level the enemy you're fighting, you always go up at least 1 level.
Yep.
Some enemies allow you to go up 2.
Yep. Beat monsters, go up levels, grab cool gear to stay alive. The end.
Reach level
It's a
10.
very simple game, but it's so much fun. It's just
Seemingly perpetually in production. Munchkin from Steve Jackson Games. The deluxe edition is $30.
Yeah.
With the board, so that'll put that down to $24, less than the cost of the regular game. So you're basically getting the board for free and saving $1 on this. So, all right. One thing I want to as part of wrap up here is just to say we have mentioned about expansions and so forth about just about all the games that we talked about this evening, and it's just to be clear that the expansions are not necessary
they just
for
add.
play. So it's none of these games are games that you have to continue to purchase more product in order to stay competitive, so to speak, like a collectible game, like a Magic the Gathering or a Yu-Gi-Oh or a Pokemon. So all these things, if you're buying this for somebody, they get exactly everything they need to be able to play the game in the boxes that we showed.
Yep. Multiple fashions as well. Most
Yeah.
of them can be played multiple
Yeah.
ways.
So there's so don't be scared off by that about any of this. It's just us talking as experience. It's like if you played this game and you like it a lot, you'll probably want to get some more of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that that'll wrap us up here for our 2014 holiday shopping guide for Page Street's Game Zone down here in Pikeville, Kentucky. Just us talking about some stuff that we really enjoy playing that could also maybe help you shopping for friends and family, whether they're gamers or even some of the ones that we talked about this evening, even if they're not gamers. So maybe try to get them to be a gamer, so to speak. So I hope that our video turns out smoothly. I will say we had a couple of glitches while we were going here, so hopefully it's if you're at this point on it, that it turned out smooth and you're able to watch the entire thing with no problems. So, and if not, our apologies. We're still working the kinks out here as we're doing these videos, trying to get them more regular. So, but hopefully it's still an enjoyable watch and informative and useful for you nonetheless.
Please turn the tape over to side B.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've
Please rewind.
Yeah.
hopefully we've helped somebody pick something out for somebody for the Christmas holiday, and thank you for listening to us ramble for this long.
All right. And Merry Christmas from all of us down here at Page Street's Game Zone.
This is almost as long as Davina's Kyrgyzstan game.
Not quite.
We'll see you later.
You wish.
Bye.